jab, uppercut, leave you laid out on the floor. Try to duck and roll, hit and miss, now you counting stars. Should've practiced more, should've hit the mask, get out there more. Claim that you're the best. You gotta show me, son. Actions over words, baby boy. Is you real or what? Talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports, talking way too much, world come. Back sports,
What up, it's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you tune in to World Combat Sports.
Once again, you're tuned in to World Combat Sports. Salute to everyone that's in the building. Shout out to Team Williams Jr., Bodyhead Allen, Roy Jones Jr. You know what I'm saying? All the juniors in the building. Also, I want to send a shout out to myself, WCS. You know what I'm saying? Trademark branded and all mine, all mine. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't see the thumbnail, let me repost it. Let me repost the thumbnail because it's very essential that people see the thumbnail and just one of my topics that I'm going to speak on today. And, you know, I'll probably drop the link a little bit later for, you know, anyone want to talk on the topic, the current topic I'm speaking on, or any other topics pertaining to fight week that just passed and everything else that's been going on, you know, in the sport of boxing. But let's get down to it, will we? I first seen this on Boxing Scene. You know what I'm saying? BoxingScene.com. And the title was Tom Brown. Tom Brown is TGB over at Premier Boxing Championships. He said we offered Canelo $45 million for Charlo, $55 million for Spence at 164 underscore. 164 underscore, or David Benavidez at 168 pounds. Saul Canelo Alvarez, you know who he is. He hosts the record, a boxing ledger of 57 victories, 1 defeat, 2 draws. 39 coming by way of knockout. All right. Those 2 draws that he have is one from Gennady Golovkin, and I think the other came in his 5th professional fight from Jorge Suarez. All right. His one lone defeat is at the hands of the one and only Floyd Money Mayweather. He would never be able to avenge that defeat, but we all know how the fight went down. Canelo Alvarez had over 40-some professional fights. He was more than educated and experienced to step in there with Floyd Mayweather. And, you know, Floyd gave him a lesson he'll never forget. At this point in time, many of us can say that Canelo Alvarez has pretty much changed places. And he's now where Floyd Mayweather was at that time. When he was on top of the world, you know, he was sitting on top of the ridge. And it was Floyd Mayweather all by himself, racking in hundreds upon millions. Now, Canelo Alvarez, you're not going to get a fight with him unless you're selected. Not only that, you're guaranteed to probably get your biggest payday. Your biggest payday. Now, there's 2 things that's going on here with Canelo Alvarez. in this offer that was sent from Tom Brown. Charlo was going to be the first one out the gate. They was offering him $45 million for a Charlo fight. This is Jamal Charlo, the one that is currently the WBC world champion at 160 pounds in the middleweight division. That is Jamal Charlo. If by chance, this is what I'm reading. Matter of fact, let me summarize the first part of this article from BoxingScene.com. Canelo Alvarez 3-fight reunion with the Zone and Eddie Hearn's Matchroom Boxing were revealed earlier this year. If the Mexican icon defeats Dimitri Bivol on Saturday night at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Alvarez will move back down for the 170-pound division to the 168-pound limit for his long-awaited third showdown with rival Gennady Golovkin on September 17. All right. The reason why I read that first is because this is the deal that he selected outside of the one that he turned down with PBC. The one that consists of him being presented $45 million for Jamal Charlo. And then if he gets past Jamal Charlo, he would have next for $55 million faced either Errol Spence or David Benavidez. Errol Spence was going to be a catchweight of 164, which is insanely stupid, especially if you Canelo Alvarez. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't make any sense. You know what I'm saying? Because he's basically, you want him just only for $55 million to have a catchweight closer to a division that he absquatulated, relocated from, abandoned, aborted mission. He left, but you want him to come within 4 pounds to the 160-pound limit to face Errol Spence Jr., who's currently campaigning 2 divisions lower? That doesn't make any sense. Let's skip over to David Benavidez. This will be more so a fight that I'll be in tuned to pay attention to in this particular order. It would be great if he faced Charlo, he got past him, then he fought David Benavidez. Why do you say that? It has very little to do with Errol Spence and a lot to do with David Benavidez being the former WBC super middleweight champion. Though his title was stripped twice, it doesn't mean anything. The man was a legitimate, bona fide, certified, official champion at a super middleweight division. Canelo Alvarez was afforded the opportunity to fight for David Benavidez' former title when he stepped in there with Callum Smith. Now, Canelo Alvarez don't owe David Benavidez anything. But if you really want to look at the truest of it all, like if you want to just pay attention to just doing what is right, you know what I'm saying? Just having a heart, just having the respect to know that David Benavidez was a champion that you didn't beat at 168 pounds. Like I said, Canelo don't owe Benavidez anything. But when it comes down to the wickets, the index of boxing, and sometimes just saying, you know what? I don't owe the guy anything, but he was champion. So why not fight him? That would be great. David Benavidez is every bit of 168 pounds. He's every bit, when he walks into that ring, will probably be a light heavyweight easily. So I would like to see Canelo Alvarez in that potential deal. I would have liked him to face David Benavidez rather than Errol Spence. I just believe that Errol Spence would have somehow, some way fell into that deal at 164 pounds. He would have been canceled. All right. Errol Spence would have been canceled. Out of that 3-part deal, I feel that was just a filler. They was using Errol Spence's name. All right. Because for him to move up to 164-pound catch weight, it just seems like they was writing a warrant. He would get canceled by Canelo moving up more than 2 weight divisions to face Canelo Alvarez. Let me go on in this. All right. I just finished reading what deal that Canelo decided to take with the zone to face Demetrius Bivol. And then we're talking about the one he actually turned down. What hasn't been revealed until now is that the exact offer from Al Haymon's Premier Boxing Championships and Showtime that Alvarez turned down to accept the zone's deal include the option of a pay-per-view fight against undefeated welterweight champion Errol Spence Jr. Tom Brown, whose company TGB Promotions represents Spence and Charlo, informed BoxingScene.com that PBC offered Alvarez a $45 million guarantee to fight Jamal Charlo on Saturday night, and if he would have conquered Charlo, a $55 million guarantee to fight either Spence at a catch weight or 164 pounds, or David Benavidez at 168 pound limit. Right? They go on to say Alvarez's combined compensation for the Bivol and Golovkin fight is believed to be comparable to what his guarantees would total for fighting Charlo and Spence. Once again, read this. Alvarez combined compensation for the Bivol and Golovkin fight is believed to be comparable to what his guarantee would have totaled for fighting Charlo and Spence or Benavidez. So basically, in short term, he's pretty much leveling out with equal numbers by taking Bivol Golovkin rather than taking what many believe on the back end would be a harder fight. Charlo, we can say what we want to say. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. I don't think Charlo beats Canelo, but I don't think it's going to be an easy fight either. I don't think Charlo beats Canelo. I don't think it's going to be an easy fight. And then on the backside of it, the deal that he chose to select is Gennady Golovkin. I believe David Benavidez will be a much harder fight for Canelo Alvarez than Errol Spence Jr. That's just me. Just my opinion. It goes on to say, props to Eddie Reynoso, the manager of the year, for getting Canelo these huge paydays with the least risk, Brown said. He had him take the least risk for the most reward. Now let me spin that reel backwards right quick. It said, props to Eddie Reynoso, the manager of the year, for getting Canelo these huge paydays with the least risk, underscore, the least risk. Once again, the least risk, Brown said. He had him take the least risk for the most reward. Once again, underscore, Eddie Reynoso, had Canelo take the least risk for the most reward. The least risk for the most reward. Because he had a chance to fight reigning world champion at 160 pounds in Charlo, and he also had a chance to fight undefeated two-time former 168-pound champion in Benavidez. Or he could have fought the reigning welterweight champion. It was $100 million deal. Let me get to the live chat right quick. Shout out to Alexander on deck, man. I see you. What up? WCS, what up with you? DBMH on deck. Salute WCS. Salute to you, my brother. Mr. Pass on deck. What's good? What's good? So right now, I am, going over the article that was posted on BoxingScene.com. All right. BoxingScene.com posted this first. It says the Zone streamed each of Alvarez's 6 bouts before he aligned with PBC and Showtime for his last fight. An 11th round stoppage of former IBF champion Caleb Plant November 6th that made the Guadalajara native boxing first fully unified super middleweight champion of the sport 4-belt era. Multiple sources inform BoxingScene.com in November the Alvarez plant produced nearly 800,000 pay-per-view buys. It's good numbers. So my thought process on this, when you hear least risk, we should understand what they was able to do. And a lot of people have placed complaints about Canelo being a individual that's not facing a tough competition. And the writer on here made a note of that Eddie Reynoso was rewarded for basically piloting. He piloted Canelo's career at this juncture to have him take the least risk with the highest reward. Y'all should truly understand how that works when you're up here talking about other fighters. Because in boxing is a no-love type of sport. You don't have to sit up here when you have basically established yourself and continue to take killers. That's pretty much what Team Canelo's saying. He said, we already established ourselves and we're going to continue to get this money, but we're going to be very selective in sustaining our money. How do you sustain your money? Is you make choices that have the least risk and the highest reward. That doesn't say too much for Canelo Alvarez talent. The man has skills. You know what I'm saying? He go in there and gets it done. We're not nowhere, shape, or form talking about as if he don't have skills. All I'm saying is when you hear these individuals talk on boxing period, whether it be old media or new media, a boxer can leave the ring from finally stepping through the ropes from an intensive, rigorous training camp, go in there, perform at their fucking best, get out the ring, check social media, and people are complaining. You have some people that are freaking praising them, and a lot of people complaining. You're never going to satisfy boxing in general. It's never going to be that sport. There's no way Canelo Alvarez can satisfy everybody in boxing. But what he is satisfying is his financial stability, his financial worth. That is what he's satisfying. Canelo Alvarez is satisfying his financial worth. And at this point, he is being very selective who he fight. Now, people can say it's Doug Masters Coalition. I understand what you can say because, a lot of people saying, well, he was the first one to get the franchise belt and he should have fought Charlo. Get it. I got it. To us, it seemed like Charlo would have been an easy choice because, everybody felt that he was this fighter that needed that Canelo fight or whatever the case may be. And so it's things going around back then. Charlo was presented the fight, and this fighter turning this down and so forth. But Canelo chose to become franchise and Charlo picked up the belt. Canelo went on to do what Canelo wanted to do. And they haven't slowed him. It haven't even came close to slowing him down and making these millions. The man, wherever he goes right now, he's making millions. So when you present him with the Errol Spence, Jamal Charlo, and David Benavidez, it's not a bad deal. But it's tougher, in my opinion, it's tougher than the one he's stepping in there with now. Now it can go, it's two ways it can go. It can go in the fork in the road. We can look at Bivol, and then we can compare Bivol to Jamal Charlo. All right? Because these are the first fights that Canelo would have faced in either deal. He's facing Demetrius Bivol now, the deal he selected, vice going over there facing Jamal Charlo. If you ask anybody, okay, who do you think would be a tougher fight, Jamal Charlo or Demetrius Bivol? The hardcore fanatics are going to tell you Demetrius Bivol. Come on, let's be sane about this. They're going to tell you Demetrius Bivol. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's not going to be without any compunction. They're going to tell you, boom, Demetrius Bivol. So let's go to the back end of the deal. Gennady Golovkin. Though I don't believe that he should have been IBF champion, and they awarded him that just so he can maintain a seat to face Canelo up the road. So he was able to go in there and stop Yoda Murata. Man, that shit. You know, that's the type of fight that you know, you having a nice little buzz and you watch a fight like that and somehow you find yourself like, damn, I'm drinking a bit more, but I'm not getting any more buzz. And then you find out you watching goddamn Gennady Golovkin and Yoda Murata on TV. That's what it is. They killing my high. You turn to another channel and your shit start to get back right. I'm serious. That fight right there would have killed your buzz, man. It was nothing exciting about it. And then you look on the back end of the PBC deal and you have Errol Spence and David Benavidez. I'm going to go out there on my own square and say that Errol Spence was just there for a filler. Because nobody in their right mind would have thought Errol Spence would go in there and defeat Canelo Alvarez at 164 pounds. Nobody in their right mind would have thought Errol Spence, regardless of what he walk around as, because he probably walk around higher than 164 pounds. No one would have been on here saying, well, I'm going to do my fight predictions. If Errol does this, and this, Errol is not going to fight Canelo like he fought Ugas. He's too light. And he's not going to be as quick fighting at that higher weight. He has to acclimate. He's going up over 2 weight classes. He would be 4 pounds off the super middleweight division if he was to take that. It takes a while for your body to acclimate to that, especially when you're competing. Walk around weight, okay, but when you compete at that weight, it's totally different. You're going 12 rounds. Then you have David Benavidez, who's a big 168 pounds. He's a true 168 pounds. That would have been tough for Canelo. You know, with the style that Benavidez presents to Canelo, how he delegates his boxing authority, I'm telling you, that second half of the deal with PBC would have been extremely tough. So once again, let's reflect back on what they said about Eddie Reynoso. Kudos to him for guiding Canelo, taking the least risk with the highest reward. You know what I'm saying? Kudos to Eddie Reynoso doing what a lot of people frown upon. But since he's Eddie Reynoso, what are you going to do? You can't do shit. You really can't do anything about it. Is it a duck? Can we call it a duck with him not facing Charlo at 160? No, because no one really talked up the fight. No one really talked up the fight. And was Charlo ready to face Canelo back then? Did Charlo turn down a fight with Canelo? You know, was he truly ready? We can't say Canelo, he departed from the 160-pound middleweight division and he ducked Charlo. We can't say that. We can't say that because they were still moving these, you know, these Charlos. You know, they were still moving some of these guys. So we can't really say Canelo ducked Jermall Charlo. Is he ducking currently David Benavidez? I look at it like this, man. David Benavidez, arguably, out of all the champions that Canelo fought, David Benavidez would have been the toughest one if he was going for undisputed. We as boxing fanatics don't truly know if Canelo would have attended his route for undisputed if David Benavidez would have still been campaigning as the WBC super middleweight champion. We don't know if he would have. If David Benavidez was still holding that crown, Would Canelo Alvarez would have chosen 175, the light heavyweight division, instead of the super middleweight division? Being that there was one belt vacant and he finally was able to fight 2-for-1, he did it. He picked up the WBC and the WBA by defeating Callum Smith. Then he went over there, stopped Billy Joe Saunders with the WBO title. And then we all know we had a delay with him and Caleb Plant. And then he went on to stop Caleb Plant for the IBF super middleweight world title, labeling him, giving the title, reigning, defending, undisputed super middleweight champion. The biggest issue right now is the biggest issue I see is that people are going to be frustrated with Canelo not allowing himself to deal with, I guess, the conversational pieces. You know, the names that are popping up for Canelo. Oh, we want to see Canelo fight here. We want to see Canelo fight that person. They're going to be frustrated because Canelo's not paying them any attention. When he went up there and treated Demetrius Andrade that way, right? And say, you want a payday? I know. You want payday? You're a horrible fighter and all this other shit. No, that's not. I mean, look at it this way. If Demetrius Andrade wins this interim title against Zach Parker, will Canelo give him the same benefit and invitation like he gave Daniel Jacobs? Because he fought Daniel Jacobs, the lone token black guy. Because people tend to think that Canelo Alvarez is not fighting the black guys, not fighting the black fighters. He's not giving us the opportunity to get paid. So therefore, at one statement, Canelo say, I'm not fighting any other Mexican fighter. Okay. That's just like me, goddamn, indulging myself with something, and then I get tired of it. No longer I have an appetite for it. Canelo fought half of his damn near career with Mexican fighters. So he turns around and says, I don't want to fight. So he goes on this thing where he starts fighting whoever he wants to fight. It happened to be European fighters or whatever. He fought Caleb Plant. He fought the Brit, Billy Joe Saunders. He fought Callum Smith. You know what I'm saying? Fought Rocky Fielding. He gave, like I said, he gave Daniel Jacobs a try. And long back when, he fought James Kirkland. We all know how devastating of a finish that was. Oh, my God. But right now, right here in this era, right here, right now in 2022, there's some names that's out there. And when we talk about black, really the only two names that people have been mentioning is Demetrius Andrade and Jamal Charlo at 160. All right. Demetrius Andrade finally said, you know what? I'm done. I'm not waiting out here anymore. If I'm going to be in the company for Canelo to even consider me for a fight before he hang up the gloves, let me go up to his division where he's unified. Let me go up there. So now Demetrius Andrade, just to say he wins the interim WBO super middleweight title. Let's just say he wins. And Canelo either won, right? From my understanding, he's going to fight Gennady Golovkin at super middleweight. Let's just say he still has the belts. He may consider Demetrius Andrade as a potential opponent. He may consider him, and that'll be cool. I would say I would rather see Demetrius Andrade get the shot than Jamal Charlo. And we all know why that's the case, because Jamal Charlo, all he's been doing is whining. He's busy whining about David Benavidez instead of saying, you know what, why not go out here and leave it all on the line? His younger brother already took an L against Tony Harrison. What are you trying to protect? You want to say, if I'm going to sell my O, it must be with Canelo. If I'm going to sell my O, it has to be inside the ropes with Canelo. That's what it seems to me when it comes to Charlo. It seems like he don't want to go up there and face that Mexican monster. He has a million fucking excuses. I don't know how y'all continue to support this dude. No one should be talking about him facing Canelo. Black people, we have pride, and you know damn well that he's been begging. You know damn well he's been begging, man. Jamal Charlo has been begging. He's not trying to go up there and prove himself like Demetrius Andrade. At least the Andrade, he moved up to super middleweight to align himself for consideration from Canelo Alvarez. I don't think Canelo sees Andrade as a threat like that, but at least Andrade took the initiative to make the move up to the higher division. Charlo, all he doing is the same shit that Gennady Golovkin is doing. He's scared. He's full of anxiety. He's fearful of leaving the middleweight division because one minute he's saying he'll fuck everybody up and everybody can get it and this, that, and the other. And the next he say, I'm 160 pounds. I'm a middleweight. You in your 30s already. So let me check something out right quick. Canelo's 31. All right. Let me check something out right quick. Because Jamal Charlo called himself the Hitman. And he's 31. Him and Canelo is the same age, but Canelo's busy climbing the ladder whenever he fucking feel like he's going to jump out the plane. He'll jump out the plane and fly over here, drop in, make $1 million, and then take a flight out. If he want to stop by a planet before he makes it home, he will. Jamal Charlo is the same age as Canelo Alvarez. The same age. Canelo has more knockouts than Jamal Charlo has wins. And he won't do anything to take a risk to say, you know what, I have an undefeated record. I'm 32-0, 22 knockouts. Let me go up here and take a risk. Let me get to these chats over here. My apologies. I just had to get off before I really start engaging with the chat. You know what I'm saying? Michael Woodard on deck. What's good? Bud Spence would kill that. Canelo's is the face of boxing noise. Andrew Charles on deck with it. What's good? I see you. Where him dump a belt is suspect, especially he goes right to 168 and unify. Okay, I can understand what you're saying. What's suspect, but being suspected of something doesn't mean you're guilty of something. All right, Michael? Being suspected of something doesn't mean you're guilty of something. And in certain cases, like we see in this simulated world we live in, just because you look guilty and you are guilty doesn't mean you'll be accused and found guilty. You know what I'm saying? Just because you're guilty of doing something, to the general public, they'll look at it and like, no, I don't think so. I don't think they actually did that shit. That's what type of world we live in. So Canelo, who's a cash cow right now, the creme de la creme, the grand poobah, if he wanted to leave the middleweight division and move up to super middleweight and pick up Rocky Fielding's belt, he picked up a championship. He picked up a secondary title and he picked up a belt. He added another division to his credential. And you think they want to talk about Charlo? Don't nobody want to hear about that bullshit, dog. You think they want to talk about Charlo at 60? Don't nobody want to talk about that shit. Snacks be in the building. Salute to you. Salute World Combat Sports in the chat. Salute to you, my brother. Bruce Gas, Boxing, Jazz, and more. What it do, OG? Salute, Scotty. Salute to you, Bruce. Sheldon said, WCS, do you have a link for the Tom Brown interview? I didn't have it prepped or whatever. You know what I'm saying? but I was just reading boxing scene. So if you want the boxing scene link, I can definitely oblige you with that. That's easy. You know, there go the boxing scene link. Right there. That's the link to boxing scene. Them the first ones who broke the news about this situation. And what was announced from Tom Brown, the front man for TGB Boxing, on the Premier Boxing Champions boxing banner. Velocity cuts on deck. What they do? EJ was going to continue to avoid Crawford by cashing out versus Redhead. Now, Velocity, I don't see a lot of falsity in what you just mentioned. It has a lot of validity and merit to it. Real talk. It does. Because a lot of these cats, I'm gonna call the brothers. Like my boy Showtime, the brothers. I think the brothers would have did exactly what I think Errol would have cashed out. I think both of the Charlos would have cashed out. 3 Texas fighters that was looking to cash out on Canelo. Seriously. Real talk. They would have gave up that O to get in the ring with Canelo. Charlo would have sold his O for a fight with Canelo. Real talk. So I do find merit in that. Juicehead would have beat the dog snot out of EJ. He would have, man. He would have canceled him. EJ would have got canceled if he faced Canelo Alvarez. Absolutely, hands down, point blank. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. EJ would have got stopped in that fight. 24-year-old Shakur has accomplished more than Jamal Charlo, shaking my head. Just by one belt, though. I mean, if you want to compare, divisions, people a lot of times respect the heavier divisions than the lighter divisions. But that doesn't discount the fact that, Shakur Stevenson is a two-weight champion, and he's a current unified junior lightweight world champion. So he has done, he's making moves. And what's crazy about it, their philosophy, that statement you just made will even further be solidified once he decided to go up to 135 pounds, and Jamal Charlo might still be 160. Because when Shakur Stevenson gets to 135 pounds, some shit gonna hit the fan. The shit is gonna hit the fan, bro. I don't know how quick they're gonna allow him, if he's able to fight for the WBA and the IBF title. I don't know how expeditious that's gonna be. Well, let's just say in between time, he wants to go up to 135 pounds. That's after Devin Haney and Cambosis settle whatever they got going on. He's gonna shake it up. And then we had the potential big time fight of Gervonta Davis and Shakur Stevenson. Let's see what his numbers with Bivol look like. I won't be watching. Bivol is not one of those names that's a star like that. Is Caleb Plant a bigger name than Bivol? You know what I'm saying? It's like holding your breath and your heart rate speeds up and you have a little bit more pulses than you did before. You know what I'm saying? I mean, is Caleb Plant a bigger name than Bivol? I mean, people knew Caleb Plant. I mean, they neck and neck, to be honest. But once again, Bivol gets the opportunity because Canelo wants to go back up to 175 and fight Bivol. Sergey Kovalev has all but expired, dwindled, and evaporated. Now he wants to return back to 175 and fight Demetrius Bivol. That's okay, bro. I found this. Thanks. No problem. Dion Washington in the building. What's good, my dog? Drop that link. They're gonna feel Lomachenko. They're gonna feed Lomachenko to him. Spence style is tailor made for Alvarez. Not really. They're gonna feed Lomachenko to him. So if you're talking about feeding Lomachenko to Shakur Stevenson, good luck with that. Good luck with Lomachenko dealing with that jab. Good luck with that. Look, there's some bits and pieces in there. That's a whole nother live. And that's why I appreciate y'all in the live chat dropping your comments, because Lomachenko is still a dangerous fighter when it comes down to his overall encompassing skill set. He's a dangerous fighter. Dangerous in the sense where he has multifaceted skills that he can apply and delegate to Shakur Stevenson. And as we've seen, Shakur Stevenson also has multiple dynamics to his striking game too. We already know both of these guys are Olympians, but when it comes down to it, Vasyl Lomachenko decided to do 2 tours over an Olympic stage, and he won 2 gold medals. But Shakur is on his heels. He's young. He's on Lomachenko heels. If they decide to make that fight, kudos. Great. I want to see it. I want to see that fight, and it needs to be PPV. That fight needs to be pay-per-view. Absolutely. And, people still believe in High Tech, man. You know what I'm saying? They still believe in him. He went in there and finished Comey and Nakatani, and then he's slated to be the third man. If Devin Haney makes it to Kambosos, you know what I'm saying? The Aussie double. If Devin Haney get past the Aussie double, he will face Vasyl Lomachenko. And if that is indeed the case, that's going to be for a lot of belts. So now, if you're not prognosticating what's ahead, we're going to have Lomachenko back in the picture. What do you think he's going to do once he gets those belts? If he get those belts, he's going to be very selective at who he faces. I can't sit up here and say I'm sure that he's going to say, okay, now Gervonta, me and you. I don't have confidence in saying that he's going to make that choice. He'll sit up and say, hey, Gervonta, I got the belts. Now it's me and you. I don't think so. Or will it be Shakur Stevenson? Will he give Shakur Stevenson a shot at his third division at all the crowns, man? They know that'd be crazy. We have scenarios that can work out in more ways than one. But with politics and boxing, we don't fucking know. We don't know. I really don't want Lomachenko to become Canelo Alvarez when he just up here picking motherfucking Rolly Romero. He picking Jackson Marinez. You know what I'm saying? He's up here selecting fighters that we don't want to see. Because I don't see him moving up to 140 anytime soon. But if he indeed gets these belts, I mean, who is he going to give a shot to? Who is he going to give a shot to? Miguel Berchelt? Who? Nakatilia just shut him down. And look, y'all sleeping on Nakatilia. Okay? Y'all sleeping. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, Caleb is a bigger name than Bivol. Okay. Like Canelo has his choice, so do we. So that he fights Euro slow nobodies with 20 fights. I won't be checking for low risk if his opponents don't have at least a 40% chance by Vegas odds. I'll pass. I understand where you're coming from with that. Spence Bud outsells Canelo any damn body. I would hope so truly that Spence Bud supersedes Canelo highest to this date. You know what I'm saying? What he's doing by his solo. We're not talking about what him and Floyd Mayweather. It'll be sick. It'll be absolutely sick in this era where they're pirating freaking streams that Spence and Bud, if the fight is made, supersedes and put them on the highest of all time, above Floyd Mayweather and Canelo Alvarez, or anybody up there. You know what I'm saying? Dion say WBO vacant, 135-pound title. Devin beats Kambosos and move up and vacates. Loma on the way out. Him and Usyk won't be mentally ready from what happened. I'm not sure what mentally ready mean? Because they wasn't out there streaming on the front lines. I mean, there was no footage of them on the front lines. Like when I was on my flight traveling to Vegas, right? On my way back, I met this Marine. He had Semper Fi tatted on both of his, Semper Fi Dallas tatted on his forearms, right? And I say, what happened? You still in? He said, no, I'm not in, but I just came back from Ukraine. So I say, wow, okay, this is the first person I met that went over to fight the war. Because I've been hearing about them soliciting military and Americans to go over there and help fight. He was one of the ones who did it. He said that the president over there was given $12,000 or something. I mean, $12,000 isn't a lot of money, but everybody has their own financial situation. But one thing I did notice about this guy, he had, a big patch over his eye. So I said, okay, you just now coming from over there. What happened? He say, I took shrapnel to the eye, and it pretty much messed up my eye for good. So now he has to he came back over here, I guess, to get medical attention for his eye. But he said he was over there. It felt like it was a war that I need to be a part of, and I wanted to go in there and help. I said, okay. You know what I'm saying? All right, cool. If Alvarez get beat, the narrative would be Alvarez take a dive for the man. Took a dive. See, that would be hard for me, Shelton, to know why Alvarez would take a dive at this point in his career. Like, we haven't heard it's a rematch clause. Bivol is not that ultimate mega star like that. Like, I could see they was going for a 2-for-1. You know what I'm saying? I can see if they're going for a 2-for-1. Like the situation is going on with Kambosos and Haney. Kambosos, his stock is risen. The bullshit, it's risen. So people are pretty much conspirators, conspirator theorists, and they'll sit up there and say, well, if Kambosos, if he take a dive, that was just to help Devin become undisputed, and then that's to send them to the rematch and this, that, and the other. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna say what they want to say. But for Bivol, why would Canelo take a loss to Bivol? And it's a dive. What benefit? Payday? He can make a payday with freaking Gennady. And to me, that's going to be an easier fight than Bivol. Because they've been in the ring twice with one another already. And plus, Triple G, he's already sipping on kale pectate and Pepto-Bismol every day and taking aspirins. The dude is old. He's just hoping his body don't fall apart. As if Medusa goddamn took off her shades. Canelo, Triple G don't have that much time, bro. And this trilogy that they talking about, man, I see it as an easy fight for Canelo. He's been in there. He showed him in the rematch, all that, man. I'm tired of that. I'm tired of talking about it. The boxing plug on deck, man. What they do? What's good? WCS, what's your thoughts on T.O. fighting Josh Taylor? Is it a good fight? Does T.O. deserve an undisputed fight? Well, boxing plug, you asked the right person, because I told people that he was going to be a world champion at 140 pounds. But they was busy, spewing the hate. You know what I'm saying? Sending the arrows down range. I told them that Teofimo may potentially be that next name. And I still say that. Him jumping the line, does he deserve it? Yeah. Why not? He only has one loss. Look what he was able to accomplish. 15, he is a champion. He defeats Richard Comey in 2 rounds. Then he moves up. He defeats Lomachenko with his 16th professional fight. 17 professional, he loses to Kambosos. 18, he gets Josh Taylor for the unified titles at 140 pounds. Bro, who's winning? Who's winning? Not to mention, let me goddamn Thriller. Let me moonwalk back right quick. He negotiated. T.O. negotiated. How good is that? T.O. negotiated for Lomachenko, 1.2 to 2. He negotiated. Come on, bro. He negotiated his worth. And the money didn't come from Lomachenko's purse. Also, he moved up and he forced the purse bid. Even though the purse bid imploded, he still took the action to push the shit to a purse bid. And it was for 6.1, my understanding. So Teofimo moving up to 140, does he deserve? Hell yeah, he deserved that shit. That just goes to show you that people really underestimate the politics of boxing because they get wrapped up in their YouTube communities and they want to listen to people who's really not fucking with the fighter. And they pass these wrapped up, intertwined, bogus ass narratives about fighters they don't like, but there's some different shit going on behind the scenes. And that's what you see with Teo. Teo's making moves behind the scenes. Did you see the sponsorships that he has? They stayed with him even after his loss to Kambosos. Teo he's very, very quiet right now. Because his shit is working. I don't know how his personal life is, but he has sponsorship. And I'm telling you, when he comes back on the scene, he beats Josh Taylor. It's going to be like transparently, he never fell off from his loss from Kambosos. People are going to start talking about Teo again. Watch what I tell you. Watch what I tell you. It's some damn good fights at 140 pounds. My question is, Teo, is he going to fight the best at 140 pounds? Is he going to fight the Superior Matias? You know what I'm saying? Is he going to fight the Gary Antoine Russells? Is he going to fight the best names at 140 if he wins? That's a huge question. Is he going to fight the top names? Because there's some incredible names at 140, dog. There's some incredible names. Isn't Cepeda up there? Is he going to fight Jose Cepeda? You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's in crazy names for Teofimo if he becomes undisputed to fight. That's going to make him millions upon millions of dollars. I think one of the front runners, even though he's not ranked as such, I think one of the front runners up there, man, tough wise, is Matias, man. Yeah, that's the same guy who was in the ring with Maxim Dadashev. You know what I'm saying? He has one loss on his record, but dude is a killer. His work rate is unfucking believable. But thanks for the question, bro. Dion said Canelo versus Benavidez, Spence versus Bud. That'd be great. And you couldn't even put them on the same card. Well, the reason why you couldn't put that on the same card, because one of them will have to be the co-main event. And right now, it's no way that Canelo is going to be the co-main event to Spence versus Bud. It's not going to happen. Taylor, after his last performance, needs to redeem himself. If he's trying to redeem himself against Teo, that'll be the fight to do it. But he looks so suspect in his fight, his last fight. People are going to give Teo all the credit in the world. They're going to say, shit, Teo going to win this fight. It's a gimme. Because we all know that Taylor's planning on moving up to 47. We all know that. Exactly, however, that is per unusual in the YTC. Look, Shelton, I don't believe there's a YTBC, bro. I don't believe that. It's a YTC. It's a community that's on YouTube that speak about boxing. We look, it's not enough cohesiveness in this social platform for us to be considered a boxing community. It's not enough cohesiveness. If we strictly talked about boxing and we can go on other people's platforms and we can talk about educated topics, right? That's reaching out to the mainstream media and they taking us serious, then I would say, okay, we got a boxing community. But right now, it's all over the place. It's a circus up in here. It's the Wild Wild West. It's the OK Corral, bro. Boxing Plug say T.O. Senior said it on Punch Drunk. It's in the video called Boxing Canelo, Spence, and Crawford should fight for the people. I have T.O. seeing comment timestamp in the comments. Okay. Dion said, nope. If Teo get them belts, I hope him and Devin go at it right away. Regis is at 140 and Montana Love. Okay, I'm good. I'm glad you mentioned those names, right? All right, so peep this out about Devin. Listen, I said this before, right? About Devin the Dream Haney. I said this before. If Devin Haney is able to run this gauntlet, his stardom is going to supersede that of Teofimo Lopez. No one is going to be able to tell Devin Haney, Bill Haney especially, because he know what the work has been about. You're not going to be able to fuck with them. That's if Devin Haney can run the Australian double. If Devin Haney gets out of the Australian double, he would have did something that Teo haven't been able to do. And I know I've mentioned this. He would have been the first one in boxing to earn the franchise title all the way to the WBO with the WBC super title included, right? He would have been the first. Not only that, him moving up to 140, that would be a grand opportunity, like you said, for Devin Haney to get a shot at Teofimo Lopez if he's currently the reigning, defending, undisputed junior welterweight world champion. Why would that fight be important? It's because they never fought at 135. Why? Because Devin would have now went over in Australia, defeated George Kambosos, became undisputed. An undisputed dynamic or definition that will run deeper than what Teofimo Lopez has done. I call Teofimo Lopez undisputed even without Devin's belt because of Mauricio Suleiman, all right? But if Devin is able to run the Aussie double, no one can say nothing else about Devin Haney, period. Off one division, he will have bragging rights. He can move up to 140 just like Teo. And you know what? They say, oh, shit, Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. And they'll be like, oh, Devin Haney moving up. He's getting a shot. Okay. You can't sit up here and say, oh, Devin needs a warm-up. Not if he completes the Aussie double. Now, peep this out, too. What if Devin Haney gets the belts? I'm going to give you two scenarios. What if Devin Haney gets the belts from George Kambosos? He complete the Aussie double. And then he goes up here and defeat Lomachenko. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. His damn appraisal in boxing, his stock is through the roof. Definitely should warrant getting a shot at Teofimo. Let's just say he completes the Aussie double and he loses to Lomachenko. That's one defeat. Now let's calculate defeats, right? Let's calibrate that, right? That means Teofimo Lopez would have had a defeat. Will have a defeat. That means Lomachenko, he has two defeats. That means Devin Haney will have a defeat. You know what I'm saying? George Kambosos would have a defeat. I'm just saying, because sooner or later, Kambosos is going to freaking move up too. Subriel Matias, he has a defeat. Regis Prograis has a defeat. You know what I'm saying? So one defeat means absolutely nothing when you speak about the itinerary of these fighters moving up to 140 and fighting for a strap. One loss is not going to determine anything when it comes to these fighters fighting one another. Even Devin Haney. Devin Haney loses to Lomachenko. Still, it does absolutely nothing because Lomachenko had lost. Come on now. He lost to Orlando Salido and then he lost to Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez get all the credit because Lomachenko was established. He was established, bro. So he gets all the fucking credit. Teofimo gets the credit. Now, him walking in there and losing to Kambosos, it means nothing. Because even without the belts, look at him. He's aligning himself in talks with Josh Taylor. You know why Josh Taylor is going to get Teo the shot? Because his name is going to bring value to the fight. Is Josh Taylor sure he's going to go in there after the way he looked his last fight and defeat Teo? Who knows? Teo pick up the belts at 140. He's in the driver's seat again, and he's going to be very selective on who he chooses. Is him and Devin Haney a big fight? If Devin has to complete the Aussie double to be considered for Teofimo shit, dog. I'm telling you. The reason why I say that is because Teo, he defeated Lomachenko for the titles. Devin Haney, this is his big all-time shot. He's going over to the Outback to face Cambozo. He defeat Cambozo. Now, not only was he the WBC champion, but he is the franchise all the way to the WBO. He is the undisputed, the raw, undisputed lightweight world champion. I would go on a limb to say if Devin Haney doesn't defeat Cambosis in the rematch, and they go take to the meeting and say, it's been nice, everyone. It's been a journey. I was able to accomplish what I set out to do. I won all the titles. I was undisputed. I sit up here and did what T.O. couldn't do. I fought for all the titles and won. Now moving up to 140. What do you think going to happen? Him and T.O. now have one loss apiece. So therefore, if Devin moves up to 140, he still jumps the line in consideration. That's if T.O. wants to give him a shot. There's some big ifs in there, man. Like if T.O. is a champion and if Devin Haney wins this first fight of the Aussie double, at least he can move up there still and say, okay, cool. Let's fight. And that fight is going to do big ass numbers, dog. It's going to do big numbers, real talk. I really want to see Matias versus Regis. Man, Dion, that's a very good fight, man. That's a very good fight. I'm about to drop that link down there for whoever want to, join the panel and talk. Because I pretty much covered everything I wanted to cover for a full hour. So, they got the link. Don't forget about Catterell. Nobody's forgetting about Catterell, but Catterell, just because he had a understandably, excellent performance against Josh, he still doesn't have that name. Look at Montana Love. So, I know Montana Love was mentioned. The Boxing Club mentioned Montana Love, but Montana Love, is missing weight by 4 pounds, bro. Like, you have to make up your mind and be committed to you're going to be a junior welterweight or you're going to be a catchweight, because you're not gonna have it your way and think you're going to fight for a title and you come in 4 pounds over. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen, bro. You're either going to be a junior welterweight or you're going to be a welterweight. Which one you want to do? You know what I'm saying? And truth be told, I totally commend and salute Montana for his 2 victories. But Baranchik, what I'm saying? The knockout was cool, man. Baranchik though, it is what it is. Great fight, 50-50. Don't know who wins. Don't forget about Catterell. Okay. Dion, I know you say you wanted to jump on here, man. What's good with the show?
World Combat, first time on. What's happening, brother?
I'm good. Appreciate you pulling up to the spot, man.
Yeah, man. That's a fight that I would love to see, man. I got a call, so I have to get back at you in a minute.
All right, for sure. Hey, Dion, you gonna jump on? Because I know whenever Canelo is the topic of discussion, I know Dion has something to say about that. And I'm highly surprised that you didn't drop your initial comment like you usually do. He usually come here and say F Canelo. You know what I'm saying? But anybody in the live chat that want to chop it up, man, chop it up. The link is in there. And I have no problem if y'all want to chop it up about some topics. It don't truly have to be on Canelo Alvarez and the deal that he turned down. That was just my topic of discussion for this evening. You know what I'm saying? Hold on for a second. Okay. So, very good questions. Dropping content about, even though it was off topic just a little bit. I believe that Canelo, he'll make the, at this point in his career, the low risk, high reward. Awesome. Make that money. Seriously, make the money. If any fighter doesn't have that mindset to establish themselves and then be very selective and strategic on how they're going to move throughout their professional career, then I think you haven't learned anything as a boxer. I'm going to be honest with you. You haven't learned anything as a boxer, bro. When you establish yourself and you put some championships, to bed, you know what I'm saying? You have that recorded in your legacy. Then you have to be selective on everything. You just can't continue to go through the sport and say, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and fight this fighter because I can. Now, if that fight is gonna render you bigger paychecks each and every time you step in, I go, okay, I get it. But fighters have to understand they have to go out here and make this money and enough to be able to start a business, invest, whatever you choose to do. Because when that light turns off and you're no longer in the ring, you're gonna have to make the choices on your second half of your life on what your career path is gonna be. That's what you're gonna have to take control of. Boxing is over with. And hopefully you're healthy enough to continue another career. But salute to Canelo for, yeah, we all know he popped dirty. We know that. But as a boxer in general, he's earned his spot. And he's making those choices carefully. You know what I'm saying? They can say Reynoso all they want, but Canelo has decision-making process in that shit too. Real talk. Ruiz versus Ortiz Sr. I like that fight. I like that because, Luis Ortiz, only 2 losses is to the Bronze Bomber. You know what I'm saying? Ruiz lost to Joshua and Joseph Parker. So, hey, I like that fight. Shout out to Dundada on deck with it. Spence wanted the payday with Canelo over Undisputed. That tells all. I believe it. Am I absolutely mad at him for wanting a payday with Canelo? Nah. I'm not, Dundada. I'm gonna tell you why I'm not, because deep down inside, I'm going to assume that Errol Spence totally understands that he's on borrowed time, like he said. Errol Spence admitted that he was on borrowed time. So for him to call out Canelo and try to get a payday, why not? Because he may not be able to go up to 154, 160. He may not have all those divisions left in his career. 54, yeah. 60, that's pushing it. 68, really pushing it. And you're talking about taking punishment at heavier weight classes. People are trying to sit up here and act like they can't, if it was them, then they can assess the situation. But looking at somebody who had a horrific accident like that, the heavier the weight class, the heavier the punches. I don't know. But if he's willing to say, you know what, let me try to get a payday with Canelo. Let's just say it's going to be over 10 million. Let's just assume Errol Spence on the pound for pound list. Caleb Plant wasn't on pound for pound. Let's just say he gets over 10 million. I mean, he takes his first loss. He still has value to the sport enough to fight somebody else. He still has a name. One loss to names like Errol Spence, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, they're not going to do anything. Look at Keith Thurman. What did it do to Keith Thurman? He has one loss. Look at Yordenis Ugas. He had 3 losses. Errol Spence gave him his 4th. That was for a championship. You know what I'm saying? I mean, come on, bro. Look at Sean Porter. Kell Brook. Thurman. Crawford. If he comes out of retirement right now and say, you know what, I want to fight so and so, people go, oh, that's Sean Porter coming out of retirement. Great. They'll look to see him fight. But Sean Porter looking like he's back to his amateur weight. Sean Porter up here looking like a cruiserweight right now. You see his weight? I mean, Sean Porter don't look like he's even considering coming back to the square. That's real talk. I mean, right now it just seems like he's very comfortable in where he's at. 45 million for Charlo. 55 million for the second fight. But Canelo getting 53 million for Bivol. And at least 50 for Triple G. Where was the Showtime deal worth? Where was the Showtime worth more? Because they was talking about, pay-per-view or whatever. And they was just really talking about the back end money that he was gonna set to receive. You know what I'm saying? Set to earn on the back end. Like I said early in the live, the numbers are pretty level, but the opponents aren't. Well, I'll take that back. The opponents are in a sense. This is sort of like a level deal. You know what I'm saying? The equity in it goes both ways. Bivol is not really a big name like that. No one truly knows how he's going to perform against Canelo. But then you take Charlo, he was going to be the first runner-up. No one truly is going to sit up here and convince anybody on YouTube that Charlo is going to defeat Canelo Alvarez at 168. No one. They don't know. They just, they have a hope and a dream for him to go out there and have the best performance ever. Okay? And then you have Gennady Golovkin. They have 2 fights to their history. And then you switch it over to the backside of Errol Spence or David Benavidez. That's where the shit separates a little bit. David Benavidez would be a very, very tough fight. Was PBC serious about inserting Errol Spence into the equation? Because he would get canceled. Outright. Canelo will cancel him at 164. And why in the hell will Canelo drop down to fight Spence at a division that he's just abandoned? If I was Canelo, I'd be goddamn rubbing my thumb against my index fingers. Mucho dinero. Si entiendes, amigo, mucho dinero. He should be rubbing that motherfucker together to my nope, more money. Because you want me to weight cut when I'm obviously A side. You want me to accommodate somebody who haven't came close to accomplishing what I accomplished. No, I need more money. Real talk. Why should that doesn't even make sense? I think Errol Spence's name is just there as a billboard. You know what I'm saying? As a semiotic. Just so people can look at it. Oh shit. Errol Spence is in the deal. Errol Spence is in the deal. No, the real name is David Benavidez. Canelo saw David Benavidez. He already knew. He probably was like, man, they trying to stick me one. So he didn't want that shit. He didn't want it. Now there's a narrative that Canelo turned down a fight with Spence. Man, nobody's running with that narrative. Nobody with common fucking sense. And so what if he turned down a fight with Spence? Who cares? You really want to see Spence move up to the two divisions, almost 3, to get canceled? Man, come on, bro. What up with it, man?
Oh, sorry about that, man. Business call. But yeah,
it's all good.
Matias versus Regis. That's a fight I would love. Don't know if they'll make it.
That'd be a hell of a fight. Yeah,
because if you notice, a lot of people get call outs. Regis rarely does.
Mm-hmm.
Rarely does.
That's his own fault though. That's his own culpability.
Say how? How you say that?
Because the only one I really heard him call out lately was freaking Adrian Broner back in the day. Have you heard him call out for a rematch for Josh Taylor? That's the one he should be calling out. He lost to him. Josh Taylor has his belt.
Those are facts. Those are facts. You are absolutely right.
I'm just saying, I was waiting on Regis. I'm saying to myself, like, Regis, why aren't you calling out Josh Taylor? He's fighting Catterall. Why he isn't fighting Regis for a rematch?
Well, look, let's keep it all the way live though. You have to give Josh Taylor credit because he promised Catterall. He said, after I beat this guy, since you stepped aside, I'm gonna give you your shot. Remember that?
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you can't say nothing else about Taylor, you can say he a man of his word.
Yeah. I mean, how far does that go in boxing? As far as him giving Catterall the shot. You know what I'm saying?
You see how it turned out for him, not very well.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. For real. Yeah. He didn't look good in that fight. He didn't look good. What do you think about Antoine Russell, though?
You are absolutely right. Let me ask you a question. What the fuck does fighting Spence do for Alvarez?
Nothing.
This dude's at 47. So you trying to tell me that a guy who just cleaned out 68 in 11 months is afraid to fight a guy coming up from 47?
That's factoids, man.
It makes
for real
sense.
That's factoid. He did clean out. You know, he cleaned out 3/4 of the division, absent of David Benavidez. Now, he don't owe David Benavidez anything, but it would be good if he considered him, being that he was the champion over there before. That's a tough fight, bro.
Yeah, I think it's a tough fight for Alvarez because of the styles. Benavidez is gonna come forward, throw a bunch of punches, and he ain't gonna run. Mm-hmm. And he may hit hard enough to push Alvarez back. Because in my opinion, that's the only way you're gonna beat that guy. If you can't back him up, you can't beat him.
Yeah, it'll be a war, man. The styles, flat-footed Alvarez, flat-footed Benavidez. Man, that fight has all the makings of being a war. But I don't know, man. I don't know if Canelo's going to gift him, like you just said, Josh Taylor and Catterall. I don't know if Canelo would oblige him and with a fight. You know what I'm saying? I don't see it, man.
Well, for now, you got to look at how Alvarez is moving. Right now, it's all about what's going to make Alvarez look good. You know, David Benavidez had the belts, fucked him off, twice. That's not Alvarez's fault. Even though I'm not an Alvarez fan, I'm being honest, that's not his fault.
Yeah.
So now, what do you offer me? You offer me nothing. I already got the titles at 68. I'm already lineal and undisputed at 68, so I don't need you. I want to go fight this guy because if I can get another belt in another division, because remember, he dropped that belt from Kovalev.
Correct.
If I can go get another belt in another division and possibly clean out another division, I'm the greatest Mexican fighter of all time, and I'm top 10, top 15 all time. Am I lying?
No, that's fact, man. And not only that, you didn't even mention cruiserweight. He was thinking about going up there fighting Makabu for an easy win. That would have added another division to his legacy.
Here's my problem with that. And this is exactly why I'm picking Bivol Saturday. Because eventually, brother, the laws of physics is gonna take over. This guy's small, man. He's a little guy. You're not just gonna keep running through bigger guy after bigger guy after bigger guy. It doesn't work that way. Somebody's gonna beat you. I think this guy.
What if they receive the orders though? What if they receive the orders?
Go.
I'm just saying, you look at you saying that Canelo's a smaller guy. When sooner or later he gonna get body checked. You know what I'm saying? It's all gonna come to a halt. But what if they're appeasing the amount of money and saying, you know what, I have no problem with dropping because they're considered average, so to speak. Like, people are not calling for Bivol. They respect his skills, but they're not calling for him as this big ass superstar. But what if Bivol received the orders, man? Just like Ugas.
Oh my God, here we go. Now I can't discount that because stranger things have happened. But here's my point with all these guys that want to say this is a cherry pick and why is he fighting this guy? Blase. Okay. Now this is an honest question. This is to you, World Combat. If it's so easy to go up and weight and beat undefeated champions, how come Charlo didn't go up to 75 and beat this dude since he ain't shit? How come Benavidez didn't go up to 75 and beat this dude since he ain't shit? Right?
Benavidez feels like he haven't did enough at 68 yet. That's him. He feels he haven't did enough at 68. And plus, you have to look at Zurdo, Gilberto Ramirez.
That's
He's a
my guy.
tall fighter. Yeah, I like Zurdo, man. I interviewed him twice, man. Real good dude, dog. People look, he has over 40 professional wins, and no one really
43.
knows who Zurdo is.
43 and 0,
Yeah.
30 knockouts. And look, quiet as kept, I got Zurdo beating everybody at 175.
You know Zurdo was going for Bivol before Canelo, right?
He's the man, though.
Correct. But
I
you
met
know who
him.
got the fight.
I went-
You see who got the fight.
I spoke to him, bro. I met him at the Blair Cobb fight, right?
Okay.
And I talked to him for about 5-10 minutes. And he was like, look, I'm mad. I'm a little upset that Canelo stole my fight. But I get it. I understand why Bivol would choose him. I get it. So now what I got to do is just keep winning. If I keep winning, eventually they're going to have to fight me.
Well,
I said, I like that attitude, man. That's the attitude to have.
yeah.
He's a good
I like
dude, man. I like
Zurdo.
him a lot.
Yeah, I like Zurdo, man. And I just look at David Benavidez being a 68. He's a 75 pounder already, but that's tough competition. He want to move up there to 175 because Zurdo and him will make a good fight. Two Mexicans, man, come on, man, they'll make a good fight, real good. But I think David might believe that at 68 there's easier opposition. Why? Because Canelo's already cleaned out the entire division. So he hoped Canelo consider him for a fight, and he's in his good graces. Or we wait for Canelo to vacate the belts, and David Benavidez can try to unify himself. Because you know how young David Benavidez is, bro. He got time. You know how young Benavidez, he has time, bro.
25 years old, right? Is he 25 yet?
Yeah, man. He's like 24, 25 years old. The man has time. As long as he stay disciplined and don't start ballooning up and become Montana Love at
Stay off the
168
coca.
pounds,
Stay
you're
off the
good.
coca.
Huh?
Stay off the coca.
Yeah. Well, he said he was in the pandemic. He got bored, dog. You know, he started experimenting shit, dog. That's all I'm saying. But
I mean, I get it.
I need to
another
address
call,
the
man.
Charlo
I'll get back
situation.
at you.
All right, cool. Let me address his Charlo situation. Why haven't Charlo did it? The mindsets of every human being is different, especially when they come to challenges. Our entire mindset is different. Charlo and his brother was both champions at 154. Mar Charlo, considered the bigger bro, who had the better amateur record, he moved up to 160 and became world champion. However he did it, you all know I'm not going into it. He hasn't did nothing, in my opinion, as far as advancement goes at a middleweight division since he's been in attendance. I haven't seen him move like that. So when the question is asked to me, okay, why haven't Charlo? Because them Charlo brothers are demonstrating that they don't have the mindset to be in Canelo's shoes. They don't have the mindset like that. Now, let's just say we look at it like, okay, if it's so easy for Canelo to do it, why can't Charlo do it? Well, who said that Mar Charlo's skill set is the same as Canelo? Nobody in their right mind is going to co-sign on that shit. They're not going to say that Mar Charlo is equal to that of Canelo, and it's just him just holding tight, and he really don't want to take no risk. No, I think it's an uncertainty that he can go up there to 168 pounds and get the job done. Canelo, he's done it. From Rocky Fielding to Callum Smith to Billy Joe Saunders to Caleb Plant, he did it. He even allowed a filler for Abner Yildirim, somebody who he had left a promissory note to. You know what I'm saying? So when it boils all down to it, Charlo doesn't have the courage. His mindset isn't built like that right now. It isn't programmed for him just to say, I'm moving. All we hearing from Charlo is like, man, David Benavidez, he should move up. He's really a heavyweight, man. Come on. He knows if he moves up to the super middleweight division, people are going to demand that he fight David Benavidez. But as long as he stay down at 60, where absolutely nothing is going on, nothing is going on. I don't give a damn if Gennady just fought Yoda Murata. Who fucking cares? That same fighter, Triple G, is about to get a trilogy with Canelo Alvarez. Okay. What about the WBO? Demetrius Andrade, he's attempting to move up the 168, fight for the interim. Cool. What the fuck is Charlo doing? Somebody explain that shit to me. What is Charlo doing at 160? He is the last man remaining. He is disappointing us. Talk. Lines only, all that. He is the last man remaining, dog. Gennady is about to get a fight with Canelo. What is Charlo doing? Oh, Charlo's about to fight Selecki. Sound the horns. Bring in the cavalry. This calls for a celebration. Let's go. Come on, bro. Selecki? Selecki, dog? No Andrade? Selecki? Andrade is in your class, but yet you still have him on the blacklist, all because he initially was getting 250,000 and he wanted 300,000. And you felt that he was changing up the shit, so the fight was canceled. 50 grand. That shit happened damn near, a decade ago? Man, come on already. Shout out to Mark Nash in the building. Breaking beats on deck. W says, hold me to it. Eddie said they will fight Benavidez next year. Okay. So if Eddie is putting it out there, you know what I'm saying? He's making a declaration that they'll fight next year. That would be cool. We have to see, because we still haven't got to the mid-year of 22 yet. We still waiting on one fight to happen this year. We want that numero uno. We want all the marbles. We're waiting to see if Errol Spence and Terrence Crawford will fight, if the fight will be signed, and will they fight 2022. Besides that, that's all we thinking about this year. What's good with it, Sheldon?
I'm back, man. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's the fight we want. That's the fight. That's the biggest fight in American boxing right now. So I don't really see what the holdup is. I mean,
the holdup is them not paying the money out.
Well, I mean, I don't know how it goes. I just don't understand how you had $45 million for Canelo to fight Charlo, $55 million for him to fight either Spence at 64 or Benavidez at 68, but you ain't got 25 million to split between these two dudes.
Correct.
I don't understand.
Correct.
For a fight
that's what we don't understand.
All your money back and more.
I believe it. I never thought Deontay Wilder.
You willing to go borrow money from them white folks to pay this dude?
That's what he needs to do. But from my understanding, those are the individuals that he exhausted and severed his lifeline with by not repaying them the money, allegedly.
Well, you know,
all those investors.
Waddell and Ruiz sold that company. They sold it to some Australian group, right?
I couldn't tell you, bro.
Yeah, because you know, PBC is just it's like a TV show. It's not really a promotional company. Tom Brown is the promoter.
No, it's never been a promotional company.
Right.
It's just had individuals that Al Heyman put in place as frontmen, but Al Heyman's been making all the decision-making process, and Tom Brown is one of the frontmen. So is Sal, the other dude that's over there. So yeah, I mean, I don't know where PBC is headed.
How come them white folks will put up all the money for Alvarez, but they won't put up money for nobody else? I don't get it.
I don't know, man. I hear different things. I hear Al Heyman don't like to see black fighters fight each other. He feel allegedly he feel that a black fighter fighting a Mexican fighter gonna make more money. But then we had Errol Spence and Sean Porter fight. You know what I'm saying? Even though it's under the same banner.
Right.
This the one that makes it all different. The change up is right here. Who's Crawford signed to?
Nobody.
Correct. So he's not obligated for the PBC banner. Errol Spence is.
Right.
So Errol Spence obviously be the A side, and they have to come up with fair monetary purses for both of these fighters, man. It can't be no bullshit.
Right. And that's basically what Tim Smith said in that interview. What was that, 5 months ago?
Yeah.
That's basically what you just said is what he said. He said, look, we know who Terrence Crawford is. We know what he brings to the table. And we can't come at him with no bullshit offers.
We don't want to insult him.
Yeah, we don't want to insult him. We don't have the money. That's what he said.
But they will invite Canelo over there with open doors. You know what I'm saying? Wipe his feet at the door, all that.
And open wallets.
Yeah, open wallets, all that.
I just don't get it, bro. I just don't get it. But this is what I think it is. I'll be honest with you. This is what I think it is. The PBC doesn't mind having in-house fights because whoever wins that fight, the PBC still wins. You get me?
I hear you.
But if I let this dude from the quote-unquote other side of the street, who's now a free agent, come over here, beat the shit out of my guy, take all the belts, then what do I have?
Mm-hmm. I mean, we know boxing is a business, right? But I think we kind of tired of hearing boxing is a business when we've been talking about a fight for damn near 5 years.
Oh, it's definitely a business. Yeah, I definitely get that part.
Hey, I gotta read this comment right quick. Velocity said Jamal will call out Gay Rosado if he beats Selecki. Now, we all know that Gay Rosado's been fighting at 68, man. So Jamal Charlo calling out Gay Rosado, who's at 68. I don't know why that would be. And also, his brother's already fought Gay Rosado. I don't know why he would call out Gay Rosado when the dude has multiple losses and he's fighting at 68 right now. Even though he fluctuates at 60 to 68, his last fight was Shane Mosley Jr., obviously, at super middleweight. So that's not going to help him at all, man.
That's his motto, though. That's what he does. He fights guys that he can beat.
People need to start holding these Charlos accountable and stop kissing their ass so much just because they are lit fuse, man. You know what I'm saying? Call it out for what it is when you're on the virtual conferences. Call it for what it is. Like, when y'all gonna step up? Like Jamel Charlo, he can say that he's unified, but you're a single division right now. That's it. You need to get past Castano. That's Derrick James' issue right there. I don't think Jamel Charlo or Errol Spence really listens to Derrick James.
I'm going to go one further. I don't think either of them dudes are what we think they are.
Damn. You have to further, clarify what you mean by that.
Both of these dudes are flat-footed, come-forward fighters. At least Errol Spence is a volume puncher. Jamel don't even do that. He's just flat-footed, come forward, looking for the knockout. They're very basic, very easy to beat. Look at the people they fought.
So you're saying Errol Spence is easy to beat? I don't know. He beat Sean Porter.
Who's his best win?
His best win to date would be Sean Porter.
And he's not very good. He's okay.
I know, but his best win would be Sean Porter, man.
And Sean Porter is okay. He's not very good.
Yeah.
Eddie Garcia is not very good. Mikey Garcia was too small.
Correct.
Lamont Peterson was old and too small. You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah. I totally get it.
The facts.
Yeah, I totally get it, man. But you know, when you talk to the Spencerholics, bro, they will tell you Kell Brook was the best thing ever because he just returned from fighting Gennady Golovkin. The best ever.
He got
And then
destroyed.
they're boosted up.
He comes in the welterweight and gets beat again. And that was a great fight. I mean, Errol did that. I give him that. But the guy just came out of a shellacking from Golovkin. People forget that part, though.
And under a year, he stepped back in the ring after that.
And eye surgery. Don't forget about the surgery.
Yeah. Under a year, he had to get surgery, recover, then get back in the gym and make sure he get cleared by the doctor to start sparring and step in there with Errol Spence. And they say, oh, that was the best Kell Brook than the one stepped in there with Crawford.
Well, see, now here's my problem with when they try to shit on Kell Brook, right? Can you name Kell Brook's 3 losses?
One of them was Spence. The other was Gennady.
And the other was Gennady. So he lost to 3 elite guys. No?
Yeah.
Everybody else he whooped. So tell me how Kell Brook is washed up.
I know he just came off beating Amir Khan ass.
I'm just I'll be waiting for somebody to tell me how is he washed up.
He was washed up only because he stepped in there with Crawford and Crawford made it easy. So they wanted to take away and diminish Crawford's win. Also, they can boost her up and continue the campaign that Spence is a better welterweight. That's what they do. They don't want to give Crawford any freaking credit. He just makes it look easy.
Exactly. My point, my sentiments exactly. Look,
I mean,
man,
you made some solid points that most people don't make when it comes to Kell Brook, because they just look at Kell Brook. And I tell people, Kell Brook took Sean Porter's belt and handed him his first loss. Okay, I get it. But when we're talking about Spence, though, Spence got a Kell Brook who was coming down 2 weight divisions, and he had the eye surgery, had to wait to that recovery process, and then he stepped in there under a year. I think it was 9 months to fight Errol Spence. You telling me he's 100%? He wasn't 100%, bro.
And it took Spence 11 rounds to get him, and he was losing the fight.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm a hater if I say that, bro.
They be goddamn bad at me in that motherfucker. Shit.
Yeah, I'm a hater.
And then they say, you know, the Sean Porter was this, that, and the other when he fought Spence. Every fight that stepped in there was Spence, they was top notch. But let's do the math now. Let's do the math. Danny Garcia had losses. The only one they can lay bragging rights to was Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Kell Brook had a loss. Kell Brook had a loss, right? Mikey Garcia was undefeated. Sean Porter had a loss. Danny Garcia had a loss. Yordenis Ugas had 3 losses. Come on, bro.
And let me ask a question. Who gave Mikey Garcia a snowball's chance in hell of winning that fight?
Nobody. Dude's coming up from 35. They sit up there and say, no, he was coming up from 40. He wasn't. He had fought Easter. He was a lightweight. Then he moved back up to 47. In order for you to go up to 47, you got to skip over 40 again. So he came up 2 divisions. Michael Wood has said you just dogged Spence for fighting him, but not for Bud. I'm not. Look,
we said Bud beat him easier than Spence, which is the truth. 4 rounds, he was out.
Yeah.
4 rounds.
Also, Michael, when you say dog, we're not dogging. We're just up here speaking about what actually played out and what we understand about the scenario. That's it. If the man was on TV and he fought Gennady Golovkin, it is public record that Gennady beat and stopped Kell Brook and punished his right side. He fractured his orbital. That's not dogging him. That's just talk about what happened. And then how are you going to have that much damage, get surgery, recover, get cleared, get back in the fight camp under 9 months to face Spence at 2 divisions lower? Come on, bro. I mean, come on, man. Spence Bud is a 50-50 fight. I can't call it. I can't wait to see it. I'm telling you, Michael, a lot of odds it's a 50-50, but I think Bud Crawford stops Errol Spence for the first time in his career. I think Bud Crawford stops.
World Combat. I already got my 500 down that you're gonna stop him inside of 11.
Okay. I have total bets. I have 1,200 out right now. Of people that probably won't even pay up if they lose. That's done happened before. People on YouTube don't pay their motherfucking debts.
Well, these cats, I know these cats personally, so I'm gonna be at their front door. They don't pay me.
Yeah, for sure. Bud was strolling to though. I don't know what that means. Strolling. Velocity say, didn't Brooks get stabbed in the leg before he fought EJ?
I don't know nothing about that. Never heard about that.
Spence and Bud both had problems. Do you have your video on in the back? Because I hear echo.
This raggedy ass about another phone. Let me go.
Spence and Bud. Yeah. Spence and Bud both had problems with Porter. But anyone would at 147. Yeah, both of them had their moments with Sean Porter. Real talk. I agree with that, Michael. Both of them had their moments with Sean Porter. I know for a fact that Errol Spence had much more of a knock 'em drag out fight with Sean Porter than Bud Crawford did. Bud Crawford, that was his friend. So it just seems like he was moving around with Sean Porter a lot of time of that fight. He was in control of the fight, but it wasn't as intense or engaging as Errol Spence and Porter was. What you think about that, Sheldon? What you think about that comment?
Yeah, I comment. I get what he's saying, and I'm looking at the last comment at the bottom. What we trying to say to you, Michael, is Bud was better than Kell Brook. Bud was better than Kell Brook. Spence was better than Kell Brook. We understand that. We knew that. But what we saying was not washed up when he fought Crawford. He was not washed up. He lost to Gennady Golovkin, 160 pounds. He lost to who is the number welterweight in the world at 147 pounds. Those are not losses that make you watch. And then he lost to another elite guy. In my opinion, the best welterweight in the world in Bud Crawford. Everybody else he whooped on. He whooped on everybody else. So I'm trying to figure out how is he. That's all I'm asking.
Y'all welcome to click the link, man. I know fingertips get a little blistery and tired, typing on there. Y'all willing to jump on if you want to and talk your talk, man. That's what it's about. That's all I'm saying. Talk your talk. But y'all been making some good points in the live chat, man. And also you, Shelton, made some very good solid points. It's just up to, the Spencerholics. They're going to believe what they want to believe and push their own narratives. You know what I'm saying? That's just what they do. That's just what they do, man.
Well, like I say, bro, I can talk till I'm blue in the face. You can talk till you blue in the face. You're not going to change my mind, and I'm not going to change yours. Let's see the fight. Let them fight.
I agree. I need to, Michael said, 10th round stoppage versus 11th round stoppage with Porter. The difference is stylistically, and to each his own. To me, both had troubles with Porter. Well, once again, I look at it this way. When you say trouble, there's degrees of trouble. All right. We all seen the engagement when it came to Porter Spence. It was much more active engagement. I didn't see that with Crawford and Porter. I didn't see, like them wrestling a lot. You know what I'm saying? Being on the ropes, being in the clinch, inside fighting. You didn't see a lot of that. But if you want to talk about when the fight was stopped, let's look at how the fight was stopped. Okay. What are we talking about? The 10th round stoppage versus the 11th round. Spence did not stop Sean Porter in the 11th. He knocked him down with a left hook. The fight went the distance.
And
Terrence
it was a
Bud
split.
Crawford stopped him in the 10th.
And it was a split decision win. If Errol Spence doesn't get that knockdown, he probably loses that fight, or it's a draw.
Yep. So I'm not sure what you're saying, Michael, about 11th round stoppage. If we're talking about the same fighters, if we talking about the common denominator in Sean Porter, and we talking about the numerator being Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. Errol Spence did not stop Sean Porter. He dropped him in the 11th. That was about it. And it was a flash knockdown. But when Terrence Crawford dropped him twice, come on, the man was beating the canvas, bro. The canvas is not the fourth man in the ring. And we all know Kenny Porter stopped it, but the fight was stopped. It's a TKO at the end of the day. Kiki, what's good? He said, but you gave to consider Errol wasn't washed, but he was clearly operating at a lower level when he fought Crawford. Brook wasn't washed, but he was clearly operating at a lower level when he fought Crawford. Brook had several issues trying to get back down to 47. What issues was those? Because and shout out to Black Belt being in the building. What issue was those though? Because Brook fought 3 fights at 154.
He said in the interview he was in the best shape of his life. You remember that?
Yeah, I mean, got to that.
Yeah,
you're right. He did make that declaration. Then he was the best shape of his life. So if he had 3 fights at 154, following Errol Spence fight, how was he having trouble getting back down to 47? He made the weight. He was looking good the first 3 rounds, wasn't he? When he was in there with Crawford, wasn't he look pretty decent? He was looking good. That's why Crawford had to change it up. At the end of the 3rd, he changed it up and he came back out in the 4th and stopped him. 100% EJ beats Thanos. Ben says Spence fought Porter's fight on
now
purpose.
That's the narrative I'm going to kill right now. Can I kill it?
Yeah, go ahead, bro.
I'm going to kill it. I don't believe that shit. Spence told you that after the fight. That's not what happened. Spence fought the way Porter made him fight because Sean Porter is a better athlete than Errol Spence. He has better feet. Porter made him fight that way. He didn't choose to fight that way. Porter made him fight that way.
Let me put the link on. You want to respond to what Shelton had to say? You know, the link is in the chat again. If y'all disagree and y'all want to sit up here and state your opinion or your subjective thought process on this, cool. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and do what you got to do. It's all good. Spence fought Porter's fight on purpose.
Conspiracy theories. What's his name, Kiki? He got the conspiracy theory going. Come on up here.
Why we act like we didn't hear Spence tell Porter how he was going to beat him at his own style? And that's what I'm saying, man. People listen. One thing about the replay, it allows you to listen over and over again, man. Kiki say, y'all boys lost Crawford, didn't stop him. Okay, we already know that. Let's rehash. We already know who stopped it, Kiki. We already know. But you willing to click the link, man, and state your case. All right? Brook asked for and was given medical extensions before the Spence fight. But I've already said this 1,000 times. Hey, man, appreciate that info there, Andrew. EJ said Porter fights like he's drowning. Man, Porter was freaking praised for that grimy ass style all the time. They even said if Terrence Bud Crawford wanted to fight him on the inside, he was going to get knocked out. He was going to get knocked out. We'll see how that played out. EJ versus Bud is so much more exciting than Canelo. Yep. Kiki said, y'all didn't speak on my facts. Y'all boys just some arrow degenerates. Okay. I mean, let's keep it on boxing. Because listen, you're going to call us degenerates, right? But yet, there's a link that's floating around. Once again, let me just process that once again and press enter. And if you believe we're degenerates, you can click the link and come onto the panel. That's all you have to do. Don't get the typing fingers. Just come on, man. You already in the live chat. Just go ahead and join it.
All caps, all caps. I'm gonna get you. I'm gonna get you.
Kiki say, Errol Spence, how can you be an Errol Spence degenerate when it's not much to process when it comes to his fighting style to begin with? Like, it's not like he's this ultimate sweet science practitioner. Like, he fights a lot of ways. Like, okay, he went to the head and the body of Ugas. It's easy to do when your target is stationary. I mean, was Ugas moving around using footwork? Come on.
Am I a hater, World Combat, when I say Errol Spence fights one way? Because they keep telling me about multiple styles that he has, and I've only ever seen him fight one way.
I've seen him fight Kell Brook just like he fought Yordenis Ugas. He came straight forward, landing punches. When he get hit, I think he took the punches better when he fought Kell Brook. Obviously, that was before the accident. But when Ugas broke down, yeah, he was able to land those punches over and over again, going to the body, going to the head. Ugas never hit the canvas though.
And
That's
he
all I'm
hurt.
saying.
I saw he hit. I think it was the fourth or the fifth round when he hurt Ugas' eye, and after that, Ugas just shelled up because he was protecting that eye. I give Ugas a lot of credit for staying in there as long as he did because he was hurt. That's why he was shelling up.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Snacks B said, did y'all see how Spence's body looked versus Porter and the way his body looked versus Ugas? Big difference. The big difference is, okay, let me first address what you put. You want to answer this first, that show on what Snacks B said about the way Spence's body looked.
I'm just gonna say this, bro. You can debunk it. I'm just about none of that. My question is, I don't care last year, last month, 2 years ago, last week. Can you beat fucker that's across the ring from you tonight? That's all that matters to me.
And my caveat to that, I really don't put too much emphasis in his body composition because they hired a nutritionist and a team, rather, that was their nutritionist and strength and conditioning. What does body have to do with it? When he fought Sean Porter before the accident, he fought Yordenis Ugas after the accident with a brand new team with strength and conditioning and nutrition, and he looked better, but I don't think his performance was better. I don't know. Like, you talking about the quality of opponent in Sean Porter vice the quality of opponent in Yordenis Ugas. Yordenis Ugas has already had 3 losses, even though he was coming off a win over Pacquiao. But at the end of the day, yeah, he was shredded. I mean, we've seen him shredded before. He still was hurt several times in that fight with Ugas. I don't know. I mean, how much money do you need to get a mouthpiece molded to your veneers? LOE, bro, you debunked.
Get to those next two comments, World Combat. I want to address those, if you can, please, sir.
What now?
Get to those next 2 comments at the bottom. I'd like to address those if you can.
Well, Michael said the thing I'll be watching for is, can Bud stop EJ's relentlessness? Will his shots keep Errol honest? Errol will be looking to outwork and overwhelm him, or will Bud set the range to his advantage and have EJ wore out from chasing and taking damage?
This is what you got to look at, Michael. If you watch Bud Crawford and you watch Errol Spence, right, you'll notice that Bud Crawford's knockouts come in 2 ways. Either A, he gets your timing down and he catches you in between your shots because he has the reach advantage. Or B, he takes a half step to the left or right or a half step back, creates distance, and catches you with a shot that you don't see coming. That's what's going to happen to Errol. Because Errol comes in and he fights one way, flat-footed, coming forward, throwing a bunch of punches, head down, just trying to get in there. And he going to run him right into something.
I don't know what's the overall versatility when it comes to Errol Spence fighting style. What are we watching? I don't know. Like, just because he go body head, that's not saying that he's multifaceted. Just because he go to the body head, he's a flat-footed fighter, man. He comes straight forward. He gets hit, he try to walk through the punch and keep going. Right back to the same thing. Like, come on. If you looked at Shakur Stevenson's recent fight, you see he was doing some of the things Bud Crawford was doing. Real talk. I mean, he was doing the same combinations over and over again, but they was effective. Andrew said, unlike Ugas, Bud can actually tie up Spence on the inside. True words, man. True words. That is an absolutely important note. He can absolutely tie him up on the inside. Why? Because he has that wrestling pedigree. It plays a difference when you're in the clinch. I can call it two dog alpha bros with great confidence while we in for a great one. One thing I will say is I really don't think this fight goes the distance. Yeah, I think Bud stops Spence, man. That's just me. I'm not just saying it because I'm Team Bud, but I think Bud Crawford stops Spence. Shout out to Sir Ken on deck, man. I see you, World Combat Sports. And panel salute to the wrenches and salute to the chat. Smash the like button. Appreciate you there. Sir Ken is in the building. LOL, Spence got hit, but he wasn't hurt, my guy. As fighters we know. Man, come on, Ben. Come on. You don't think Ugas hurt Spence, man? Let's throw out the mouthpiece deal. Was there any other time during the fight that you saw Spence get hurt? As fighters, we know the difference between getting hit and getting hurt. I think I would have to stay on code, as my boy Dion say. Spence was hurt several times in that fight with Ugas.
What is code?
Go ahead.
No, you said something about code. I want to know what is code, bro. What's the code?
Oh, it's just a figure of speech. Being true to yourself on what you believe in. You know what I'm saying? Like, stand on code with yourself and what you believe in. Like, don't switch up. If you believe something one way and how it went, stay on code. Be true to yourself. Be honest. Now, it is different definitions. The code. People saying stay on code with certain things as narratives. No, I'm talking about stay on code with myself and what I believe in.
Well, I'm off code because I don't believe that Spence is what everybody says he is. I don't think he is.
Oh, if you're saying if you're basically saying if you're off code and you're asking a question, you have to ask them what the code is. I don't know what the code is for Spence.
That's what I'm trying to figure out because in my estimation, right, and I've been here for a little while on this planet, if everybody liked the same guy, then the world would be boring, wouldn't it?
True. Black Belt say Spence gonna make Bomac throw in the towel. Man, that would never happen, bro. That would never happen. I seen Spence get hit and went back, but I can't say hurt. So you didn't see him stumble back. He get popped in the head, he stumbled back, and then he just walks forward because that's his mentality. You know what I'm saying? That's his rhythm. He gets hit, he needs to quickly recover and walk right back in the line of fire. No different angles, walk straight in the line of fire. And you do that with Bud Crawford, it's gonna be detrimental to your damn your lifeline that you have in that fight. It's gonna be detrimental, man. You can't stay on line with Bud Crawford.
I got one. My man Michael says everybody used to say Hagler was one-dimensional. Well, brother, I'm 55 years old and I was there. And I never heard anybody say Marvin Hagler was one-dimensional.
You know what that is? Once again, they're staying on code with all these narratives. They're trying their best to compare Spence to Marvin Hagler, bro. Hold on for a second.
He's nowhere near that.
No. Go ahead and cook, man. I'll be right back.
I mean, fellas, I just have a problem when anybody tries to compare the guys today who fight much less, who fight in bigger gloves, to the guys that were real dogs. I mean, if you know anything about Hagler, Hagler didn't get his first title shot until he was 48, 2-2. He had 52 fights before he got his first title shot. So we can't compare these guys today with those greats of before because the rules were different, the rounds were longer, everything was different. So I try not to get into the who would beat who because I don't think any of these guys today could beat any of those guys from the 70s, 80s, even the early 90s. Well, of course, Michael, he was fighting Sugar Ray Leonard. You know, Leonard was the darling, and Leonard was a hell of a fighter. He had more dimensions than Marvin, but Marvin was ambidextrous, a switch hitter. Marvin had a great jab, a great hook. Marvin could box. Marvin was an all-around great fighter, bro.
So he deserved not to just be recklessly compared to a fighter who haven't even earned the spot to share, you know, with the great Marvin Hagler, man. Marvelous Marvin Hagler. Spence haven't even earned that spot yet, man. Also,
Well,
I
if
seen
you
both.
want to get into comparisons, brother, I don't think Spence could have beat Durant.
And that would have been an incredible style to watch, boy. Hands of Stone. What they said, Manos de Pedro.
Yeah, and I don't even want to talk about Tommy Hearns. I don't see no way he beats Tommy Hearns.
Man, that reach was incredible back then, wasn't it? God damn. He lifted Roberto Duran up with an uppercut, didn't he? I don't know if it was a right uppercut or what. That shit was
you talking about when he knocked out Duran?
Yeah.
He knocked out Duran. He hit him with an overhand right. Straight down the pipe.
I think it was a punch where he lifted him off. It seemed like he lifted him off his feet though. When he was up against the ropes, his back was against the ropes.
Yeah, that was in round one. That was in the first round. Yeah, because you know he knocked him out in the second. Okay. That was in the first round.
Okay. We don't have no Tommy Hearns in this era, huh? We can't say.
Oh no, we don't have no Hearns. Ain't no Hearns in this era. No.
Hey, it'd be somebody in the chat said, "Well, you got Sebastian Fundora."
Come on, man, stop it.
Well, it was just a comparison, shaking my head. Hey, I mean, we it ain't that personal, bro. We just talking, Michael. Man, talk your shit, man. Drop what you want to drop in there. You talk. Look, at the end of the day, you talking boxing. You talking boxing, so it's all good.
It sounds to me like some of you guys never been to a barbershop. Go to the barbershop, man. They talk this shit all day long.
Man, it gets worse in the barbershop. Especially if you in the chair. It might take you a good hour and a half to get your hair cut. 2 hours.
Man. Oh, that's a good one right there. You see that one at the bottom? Valero versus Tank? I don't know. I'll give you another one. I think Tank at 35 would have had problems with Boom Boom Mancini.
Yeah, Boom Boom, you know, he was Boom Boom for a reason now. Because of that goddamn ammunition. That would have been crazy. Because them guys, but also you have to take this in consideration. A lot of those guys was juicing back then too.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier.
More than they are now.
When you was off the line, that's what I was saying. I try never to compare these guys to those guys because those guys fought 15 rounds in smaller gloves. They fought way more often. It's just no way you can compare it. I don't think any of these guys could beat those guys.
Yeah, man, 15 freaking rounds. Damn. That shit is crazy. And then, you know, the drug testing and everything and the politics and boxing being ran, you know, the mob had a vested deep interest in boxing back then. I mean, it was so much going on back in boxing. Yeah, you can't really compare, man, because it was a lot going on back then than it is now. We have VADA. VADA wasn't going on back then like that. at all.
Yeah, you know, these dudes, them dudes back then didn't have no nutritionists and no strength and conditioning. They wasn't doing none of that. The nutritionist was your wife or your girlfriend. Hey, baby, I
Yeah.
can't eat that. I got a fight coming.
And some yak. You know, the yak or cocaine.
Yeah, that's about it.
And then you have to take this in consideration. The amount of activity that they was putting out, the amount of fights they was having, you know, per month and annually. Them guys was fighting.
How long Spence been in the welterweight division?
He's been in there since what, 2012, ain't it?
So that's 10 years, correct?
Let me check right quick. I think he's been in there since 2012, man. Hold on for a second. Because he was part of that Olympian team. Yeah, 2012, November 2012.
So he been in the welterweight division 10 years and got 27 fights. Come on, man. You can't compare that to them dudes.
And he just started, you know. I mean, I know he went over across the pond in the backyard of Kell Brook, but man, it took him a long time to figure out what he wanted to do in life when it comes to this boxing. You know, I mean, he joined the sport in 2017, 2012, and not until 2017 he gets one of his biggest fights, his title shot. You know what I'm saying? And since then, you've had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 fights. Since 2017, 6 fights. That's crazy.
And you want to say he's an all-time great. He can beat this guy and that guy. Come on, man. Y'all need to cut that out.
And then the only undefeated guys he has between his fight with Kell Brook is Carlos Ocampo and Mikey Garcia. Those are the only ones. You know what I'm saying? Carlos Ocampo, we all know we couldn't really take him serious. And then Mikey Garcia, he's a 4-weight champion. He came up 2 divisions. So, hey, when it comes down to these discussions, man, it depends on who's on the panel and who's controlling what. You know, that's where it gets a little sloppy because they say the same thing over and over again, man. These guys say the same thing. They bring up BoxRec. They compare it to Terrence Crawford. They want to bring up Jeff Horn, and then they want to compare Kell Brook to when, you know, Terrence Crawford fought him. I mean, this just get redundant over and over again. We have new content to talk about. They both have stoppages in their last fight. Now let's talk about the current. Let's talk about, is this fight going to get made in 22? I hear cats over there talking about Gamboa. 8 years ago there, Sheldon. 8 years ago, you have dudes now bringing up Yorkis Gamboa on the fact that he hurt Terrence Crawford 8 years ago. Just think about that. Errol Spence been in this division 10 years. Well, they're talking about what Gamboa did 8 years ago. And he's fought multiple individuals since then. I don't mix arrows, but I do compare. Sweet Pea beats everyone 135 to 147.
You heard me, World Combat?
Man. What now? What you say? Sweet Pea, man. Sweet Pea was that guy, right? That magician. The only thing about Sweet Pea, man, I just wish.
Did you hear me, World Combat?
What'd you say? You muted. I would love to see a 13 round. Of course, that'd be great. It'd be great. But
you still there, brother?
Can you hear me? Can you hear me? You might need to come out and go out and come back in, man. I would love to see 13 round. I mean, they all about sensitivity in this era. 13 rounds will probably be too much. The commission will probably have a fit. Oh my God, no way we're bringing that back.
World Combat, you still there?
I'm here, man, but I don't think you can hear me. Let me I'm gonna put some in the private chat. Sweet Pea would definitely be a problem for real. He had like 1 or 2 fights at 54, I believe. Then all 47. He did. Early in his career, he had, fights at super welterweight. And then, he moved to 147. But still, credential wise, he haven't really compiled any stellar credentials while he's been in the division for 10 years, man. He sure has 3 belts and he's undefeated. Can't ask for more. He is. Real talk. He is undefeated. He has 3 world crowns. You can't deny that. Ben said, did you also account for the time he had missed due to injury so we can take away 3 years? From what I'm hearing with y'all babysitting him, y'all want to make it seem like that wasn't self-inflicted, Ben. You want to say, hey, did we account that he missed 3 years? Come on, man. Y'all are coddling this dude since he survived his accident. Like, are y'all going to give him credit for returning from his accident? Or are you going to continue to say, oh, man, he survived a horrific car accident. We need to keep on babying him. Man, he fought Danny Garcia. He just won a belt with Demetrius Andrade. You back? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm back. And my question is, okay, he had a car accident, but whose fault was that?
Yeah, whose fault was that, man? What are y'all doing? Michael Woodard with the super chat donation. Appreciate you, brother. Real talk. One love to you. Thanks for the support. Dropping $5 super chat, man. Good show and chat. Appreciate y'all. But I need to get back to Ben. You know what I'm saying? Hey, let me ask you this, Sheldon. Do you believe that Errol Spence fanatics are somewhat babysitting or micromanaging him since his accident? It seems like they just want to, what's the word I'm looking for? They want to be his support system. It seems like they want to be his support system, man. They just, we here for you. We're your lifeline. You know what I'm saying? We want to make sure you need anything, Gatorade, anything. No, it's not like that, bro. He fought Danny Garcia and he fought Demetrius Andrade. Why are we factoring in that that's supposed to be depleted from injury? He's still been 10 years in the division, bro.
Well, see, my problem with it is this. I believe a lot of these guys today, and I don't know anybody, so I'm not putting this on anybody. It's just what I see on YouTube. A lot of these guys are fan of boxers and not fans of the sport. You see what I'm saying? I want all the top guys to fight the top guys. I've always had a problem with, well, I'm going to clean up my side of the street and then I'm going to come over there. Look, if it's strap season, bro, it doesn't matter to me what strap you get first.
You're right about that.
Get them all. If you the man, get them all. Terrence Crawford is the best available. Now, you can say I'm wrong. You can say I'm a hater. But there's a reason why you didn't want to fight him until you got them other 3. It was almost why PBC always saying we ain't got the money for that fight. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Ben said, LOL, wait, when did I start babysitting? I'm talking about you mentioned 10 years. I'm just saying it's actually 7. No, it's not, because he was actually in the division. Okay? You don't take a leave of absence from the welterweight or whatever division you're campaigning at. If he chose to have an accident after the Spence fight, after the Porter fight, then that's self-inflicted on his part. We don't extract that from saying he's been in the division for 10 years due to his recovery and return to the sport, Ben. Come on, it don't work out that way. What about everybody else has been in? When they go to the Hall of Fame, what do they announce? The entire time they was in boxing. You know what I'm saying? They talk about the amateur, they mention the amateur, and then they mention their inception to the professional ranks all the way to the last fight. That's how it goes. They don't say, well, he has a leave of absence at this point to this point due to a car accident. No. Thurman got the best resume at 147. And then, not to mention, and during that time, he didn't get stripped of his title. So they was looking out for him. He didn't get stripped. All that matters is the fight is next. We hoping it to be next, Peter. We hoping the fight is next. We need to hear some type of contractual signing, and then the promo starts, the announcement. We need for Mike Coppinger, you know what I'm saying? Dan Raphael, whoever else is out there. We need for them to break the news that the fight's been signed, and it's all across media. That's it. Velocity, I can see that.
We not hating on Errol Spence. We applaud him. At least I do. I applaud him for coming back to boxing, rededicating himself, getting the alcohol out of the system and all that stuff he was doing, blowing up in between weight, blowing up in weight in between fights. I applaud him for doing all of that. All I'm saying is, with all of that he's been through, and with all of that he's accomplished, this guy is not better than Crawford, and Crawford is going to prove that to you guys whenever they fight.
I don't even have to follow up behind that because I basically address those same sentiments, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what my belief is. You know, that's what I stand firm on, and that's what it is. Portland Thurman has the best at 147. But you have to look at who's still undefeated and who is the current reigning champion. It would have been good if Thurman defended his title against Pacquiao and he would have still been in the hunt. Then this division really would have been interesting because then Thurman possibly would have faced Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? Ugas, whoever. You know what I'm saying? It would have been a mix-up right there because Thurman never gave Errol Spence the time of day when he was the WBC and the WBA champion. But if he would have defended his belt and he still had that O on his record, that would have been a good fight seeing Spence in there with Thurman. Yes, they need to get this fight signed. I might go. Michael Wood, one time Thurman fought Pac-Man. It don't get better than that. Bro, what are you talking about? You clearly sound like a fan of specific boxer. What are we talking about? Bro, you capping. Spence told Crawford before he fought Porter, before he fight Porter, if he took 60-40, he's next. What are we talking about numbers though, Ben?
Let me address that. First of all, Spence don't write no contracts. That's up to Heyman and his people. So he can't decide what nobody gets. Let's get that clear. Bud don't write contracts. That's up to his people. He don't decide what nobody gets. The guys with the money decide that. Number two, why would I take less money to fight you when you've been in one division for 10 years? I ran through 3 divisions, 2-time lineal, 1-time undisputed, current champion, undefeated. I've done more in this sport than you. So why would I take less to fight you?
I don't know. I don't know who that was addressed to. Capping. What we talking about, bro? You capping. Spence told Crawford before he fought Porter. You know, Spence told Crawford that he's going to take the easy route. Man, we've done ran through this video. We've basically molested the shit out of that video. I'm tired of seeing that video because it absolutely proves one thing. Spence went the easy route and fought Porter. Terrence Crawford wasn't on the list for him to step in the ring with. So he was going to go over there and fight Porter. And then he was able to fight Yordenis Ugas. But truth be told, he did not mention Terrence Crawford's name in that meeting that they had with Bob Aaron was on deck. Everybody else, they was right there in that little circle. That video has been molested enough, man. You can't befriend it anymore. You can't break it down and itemize it and come up with new shit. We saw what we saw. We heard what we heard. And that's it, man.
And then to cap it off, excuse me, bro. And then to cap it off, Spence came out of his own mouth and said, look, I was capping. I shouldn't even said that. I can't tell another man what he's supposed to take. I was out of pocket with that. I'm not gonna do that anymore. No more talking purse splits. No more talking money. Negotiations are gonna be done behind closed doors. Your guy said that.
That's fact. He said he was joking. That's fact. He said it on the Last Stand podcast. That's fact. That's absolutely fact. So why are we still mentioning the 60-40? Errol Spence already came out and admitted he was joking. That's fact, man. I don't know what else y'all need. Like I said earlier, I say, man, we live in a world where simulation has taken over. People hear things that they know is right, but they say, nah, it can't be. I know what I seen, but nah, it's something else. You know what I'm saying? You're looking at stuff and you're not even processing the way you should as a human being. You're sitting up here putting scenarios together and adding shit that's not there. It's crazy, man. It's crazy. It's enough on this YouTube talking about Spence and Crawford to know recently when he did the Brian Custer interview, he said he was joking. So why are we still talking the 60-40 noise? We should let that go, let it die down and evaporate. It's over. But I could name several fighters that had more accolades, but didn't get the bigger split. Well, we can say Gennady Golovkin was one of those guys. Because when Canelo moved up to 60 to fight him, who had the belts? Who was the A side in that fight? Of course, there's names out there, A side, B side. But let's just say Errol Spence. Let's just say Errol Spence. Does it really matter if Errol Spence is the A side? Terrence Crawford's still going to get paid regardless. So it don't matter. Just like Caleb Plant was paid, it doesn't matter. He's going to get paid. Caleb Plant was the B side, and he ended up earning over $10 million. So you think he's struggling right now? Hell no.
Yeah, I don't even know how we got onto purse splits. Nobody cares because, I wake up every morning, right? And I check my bank account, see how much money I got, correct? And I'm looking at withdrawals and deposits and direct deposits. Terrence Crawford ain't sent me a dime, ever. So I could give a shit what he makes. I just want to see the fight.
Ben, man, let it go. We're not talking about splits, man. We want to talk about the fights, bro. We don't care about what was said. When he was walking out, we'll give him whatever. He's already on record as stating that he was joking. Give him a cone, or whatever he chose to give him. Come put your bias aside, your guess on overall bias, not being objective. I don't know where you at with it,
bro. And that's your opinion, and I respect it. I ain't mad at you for having your opinion. You think I'm biased? That's fine. I like both fighters. I think Errol Spence is a hell of a fighter. I think he's one of the best we got today. He's just not better than this guy.
I totally concur with that. Any final words you got to say? I've been on here for 2.5 hours. Appreciate you pulling up. First of all, show.
I'm glad that you had me on, bro. I appreciate it. Get my bars off, and hopefully I catch you on the next one.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thanks for the support. Appreciate you pulling up to the spot. Those of you in the live, yeah, for sure. Those of you in the live chat, man, damn good input as always. You know what I'm saying? WCS, live chat is exclusive. You know what I'm saying? We got some intelligent boxing fans. We ain't gonna agree. We don't supposed to agree to everything, but we do talk about boxing majority of the time. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to really talk about the trolls. It's just educational shit for whoever's tuning in, whoever's viewing the live chat, and also for myself. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate y'all for doing your thing once again. And continue to support the channel, man. Sub, hit the like button on your way out the door. And, make sure you hit the bell icon for a notification. Until then, check me out on IG, worldcombatsports.com. We're on YouTube, of course. Facebook is World Combat Sports Group. And, just stay tuned. We got some big stuff popping. And plus it's fight week once again. So y'all turn up and tune in to World Combat Sports.